We need a bit of an update of where we are. We are in Passchendaele, Ypres, Belgium.
Again.
We were here 6 months ago. We're in the same cafe where we were 6 months ago. Although I don't think we vlogged that, did we? It was rather noisy at this cafe corner, but can't always complain. But we're going to go and have a visit in this church here, which was totally destroyed in 1917. This church is the highest ridge of the objective during the, was it the Battle of Ypres? Passchendaele?
It was literally just a bit of basement, which was effectively just a crater to shelter in. There must have been memorials to the Canadians simply because 9 Canadians earned the Victoria Cross and 16,000 Canadians died gaining the ground from Canada Gate through to here, which is something like 600 metres.
So in our little travels, nothing has been planned on this trip really, has it? And we've stumbled across some British World War I bunkers at Langhoff Farm.
Please don't say stumbled when I'm right here.
Well, don't go that way. Go this way.
There's loads of space. Ooh.
You're not going that way.
It's fine.
I have to follow him. Typical. Oh, there you are.
They've got doorways, but they're kind of got barbed wire across. You can't actually go in them, but you can see.
You can't go in, can you? So there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bunkers. Oh, crumbs. Oh, it's a bit messy around here. Oh, can't see in there so well, can you? You can't go in.
Not that you need to.
Well, but they've got, what is that? What they call that? Elephant? What's it called? You know this.
Corrugated iron.
Yeah, but it's like something to do with elephant, isn't it?
Well, look, it's corrugated iron that's come.
Oh, careful.
It's corrugated iron that it originally had, which has either been taken after the war to reuse, or, which is most likely, or it's just, well, in the case of that piece, it's just rusted away. But,
they've even got, if you look at distance there, they've even got a fireplace.
Have they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You see the fireplace? Well,
Yeah,
obviously they want to keep warm, don't they?
Well, it makes sense, yeah. And it's surrounded by a kind of moat.
Not quite, because we've managed
Well, not all the way around, but it might have been all the way. Well, it wouldn't have been all the way around because they had to get access from their side, didn't they? You could actually go in this one if you so choose. There's possibly no point.
Well, there's no point, is there? They all look the same.
Well, you've seen one. You see, this one's actually been used as a wood store.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get in there. Oh, yeah.
Here's one with like a side entrance.
I've got twigs all over me. Are you going to go in? Should we have a little look? Any spiders? Better not be. What's in here? Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
Can't see so much. Oh, look! Shall we go in?
What can I see?
Is it safe? Is it safe? Don't smell right good. Fireplace at end there. We're actually inside a World War I bunker. A British one.
Yeah.
Cobweb up there.
And this one's much more like I would have thought the others should have been.
Yeah.
If you look, it's got that as a blast entrance.
Yeah, it's so
It's
that.
blast.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so it doesn't.
Explain it. Go on, explain it.
If a shell lands at the entrance or even into the entrance, the wall here protects from blast damage coming right into the building fully.
I couldn't have explained that any better. You did a good job there, lad.
Oh, thank you. And here, look, you've got...
What's a window?
No, well, sort of, yes, but here, look. You can see the metal reinforcement here, look.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then obviously it would have had corrugated iron here as well. But obviously that's now gone. They either reused it at the time to build the next one. After the concrete had set, they took it off. Left this one up to help with the structure. And possibly one at the end as well. No, not the one at the end. But basically they left that bit of corrugated iron up. But then they took these ones off to build the next one.
Right.
There's no point in leaving them on because if you're creating your structure with your concrete and your steel inside, your metal inside, these pieces are sort of superfluous.
Is it like a mould?
Effectively, yeah.
Right.
But you can keep reusing them, can't you? Which means that you are using less resources to build said number of bunkers. Right, that's it. Ooh,
right, come on.
Spider.
You better not be.
Oh.
Oh, help me up.
Mind your head, keep your head down.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh. Next destination here is Bedford House Cemetery.
So we're just pootling around and we just come past Bedford House Cemetery, which looks quite interesting. It's actually a pretty big cemetery. It's 5,140 servicemen of the First World War and nearly 70 from the Second World War. But can't state categorically without looking at every single headstone that those, while they may have some regiments on them, they are all soldiers of the Great War, unknown soldiers if you like. Sorry, not completely right, because this one in this section is a soldier of the Great War. Second World War. Yes, good point, well presented.
Yeah, 1930, 1940.
Yeah, these are all Second World War, aren't they?
Second World War. It just say the Second World War dead in here too.
It would appear, yes.
Yeah, they're all, Second World War, 1940.
Yeah, age 21.
Yeah. Oh, it's cold now. If we look over here.
So these are all Second World War?
Yeah.
All right, okay. And are we going to swim to the next part of the cemetery?
We're not, no, there's a way around. We have been here before, a few years ago, but just across there is... Yes, it's quite big. In fact, if you can see right up there... It goes
right up to the pavilion, for want of a better term.
It's kind of like in what?
It's kind of like in four sections. You've got this front piece here, and I don't know if they were the early ones. Then you've got this mound here, which appears to be all Second World War. Majority are named. Then you've got this third section here, leading to the Cross of Sacrifice, and then the fourth section leading up to the pavilion, as we have called it, wrongly or rightly. Temple Pavilion?
Yeah.
Now we've got to walk.
Got to walk all the way around here.
Well, you could wade.
And then back round down that bit there. So... we have been here before.
We have.
Before we did
familiar.
Before we did YouTube.
Yeah, I think
before we did YouTube that we did this.
The water section looks sort of familiar. Yeah, I don't think there's actually a named soldier on any of here. All they've got is like some like Canadian and such like. Oh, I'm corrected yet again. We have an AF Croucher, 1st Canadian Mounted Rifles, 5th of June 1916. Private.
So you're walking backwards, please don't fall in canal. But I don't know if anybody's realised, but it's quite apparent that we're sort of a bit... Are we obsessed?
Amateurish?
Well, we are, but are we not a bit obsessed with World War I stuff? I find it interesting.
It's interest.
I think it's interesting because I've got quite a few relatives.
13 at the last count.
We have done lots of vlogs last year about World War I.
But we're trying to do things that we've not covered before because things are popping in that we've not done before.
Yeah. But I mean, by no means we're not historians, so we're not experts. We're not specialise in all this. It's just that we're interested in it and we're interested to learn more. Look at this.
I'd probably call it an avenue.
An avenue. It's like you're in Tuscany. Well, we're now in the second bit. We're coming up to where the cross of sacrifice is in the middle. Well, it's a little bit warmer here, less breezy.
It's a bit out of the breeze, isn't it?
Yeah. But you've got... You can't go through all these. It's just there's just so many of them.
I just glanced at a few.
I mean, I feel like it's an interest, and you can't imagine over 100 years ago. Well, it was over 100 years ago. The mindset of people willing to go off. Imagine they didn't really know what they were expecting at the time, did they?
Not really.
Thought they'd be all home by Christmas, 1914. But you can't imagine the. They must have been filled with excitement. A lot of them. The thought of seeing the world.
It's an adventure.
You've got to feel proud of these young men that gave their lives for the sake of ours. So this behind me is, as we all know, is the cross of sacrifice, which is in every cemetery. Commonwealth War Graves Cemetery. Well, it's run by the Commonwealth War Graves, isn't it?
Yeah.
So...
Oh wow, there's a little section there, look, just tucked over there.
Well, tiny intimate cemetery. Within this cemetery, over this little bridge, within the Bedford House Cemetery.
And we're also, by the looks of it,
southwest towards Rydell N336.
You got your sat-nav still on?
we're also at some sort of Commonwealth War Graves depot.
Do you think so?
Well, for
We've
definite.
got all gardening tools, haven't we?
Yeah, it's all gardening tools. There's loads of cars, there's big tractors and things parked there.
Alright.
Yeah, it's there.
That must
kind
be
of-
where they all keep all the tools.
Yes.
You see, some of these graves... James, where you going? He always does this. He always wanders off. Wanders into places where general public shouldn't wander. He can't help himself, you know. Really can't. There's what?
It's their central depot, or one of them,
Right.
with planters propagating plants. You know, the lovely planting they do. Well, they've got to seed them somewhere.
Yeah, is anybody about?
There's some people about, yeah. Inside a building. I didn't go in.
Right.
Thought I might get told off.
Well, you would, wouldn't you?
Well, apart from by you.
Come back here. What are you doing? Don't wander off. Now, I'd be wanting these cleaned up a bit, because
Come on.
they're a bit green, aren't they?
Camouflage, aren't they?
Well, they're not,
Khaki.
it's not, it's like some kind of mold, because it's damp around here.
Tell you what, any green cats would be able to hide really well here.
Will you shut up about green cats?
Nobody knows about green cats.
We haven't discussed this green cat issue, have we? Now just stop it. There's no such thing as a green cat.
No, there are. You just can't see them because they're merged in. Shows how good their disguise is.
James, you can't have green cats. Stop it.
You should
Where's
have.
this going?
Imagine how many mice they could catch
Oh,
if
now
they were
look.
green.
Now look.
I know.
It's a soldier where he fell, as we know.
I think you're right.
And these are probably one of the original
I think you could be right.
cemeteries.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to 1915, 1916. And down here, got a couple here, and one on its own as well. Yeah. 1915, both of them. 1915. So it's into the Second World War. Into the second year of the First World War, should I say? Somebody's clearly remembered here.
Oh goodness.
Corporal of Horse, Charles Edward Dean, 2nd Life Guards.
See this one here.
Right. We honour your dedication and ultimate sacrifice for the protection of others on behalf of your sister Clara and nephew, Lieutenant Colonel Edward R. Cryer, and all the family. We are so proud of you.
Sunshine passes, shadows fall, but love and remembrance outlast all. Now this is brand new.
It is, isn't it?
I wonder if he's just recently been found.
Possibly.
Because
Maybe,
this
yeah.
is very recent. It's a new headstone, which does happen. They do replace them. There was one of your relatives who had a brand new headstone. There's a brand new headstone just there.
Oh yeah, there's this one here.
But
That's brand new.
that's in the middle of a row. This is on the end of a row.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, it's in line. It is in line. But the fact you've got all these new ones, I wonder if he has been only recently found in a different location and laid to rest here, forming an unknown soldier. We were right. This is news from 18th of March, so what's that, 7 days ago?
Yeah.
Grave of missing Windsor soldier of World War I, identified in Belgium. More than a century after his death, the previously unmarked grave of Corporal of Horse, Charles Edward Dean, has been finally identified and marked.
Oh wow.
That's why there's all those brand new. That's from a week ago.
Right.
A rededication service organised by the MOD's Joint Casualty and Compassionate Centre, also known as the War Detectives, was held at the Commonwealth War Graves Commission, Bedford House Cemetery, Belgium, this morning, the 18th of March, 2025. I'm grateful to the researcher who originally submitted evidence suggesting the location of Charles Dean's grave. In rededicating his grave today, we have reunited his mortal remains with his name, ensuring that his sacrifice will not be forgotten.
Oh God, yeah.
I think it's worth reading.
Wow.
Okay, I'm going to read this because
Alright.
this is a guy who we can feel that we know.
Right. Okay.
Charles Edward Dean was born in 1877 to James Albert Dean and his wife Fanny in Wiltshire. James was a boilermaker, and Charles grew up with 6 siblings, 4 older and 2 younger. In 1900, Charles joined the Household Cavalry, signing up for 12 years long service with the Lifeguards on the 9th of March. He had been promoted to the rank of corporal by the time he married Ada Josephine Taylor of Rotherhithe, 25th of April 1908. Shortly after the wedding, Charles and Ada moved to Windsor, where they had 4 children together. Edward, born in 1908, Ada in 1910, who died in infancy, Elsie in 1912, and Charles was born 2 weeks after his father's death, oh that's sad, in May 1915. Being a regular soldier, Charles was put into action quickly on the outbreak of war in 1914, and we know that the 1st detachment of the 2nd Lifeguards sailed for Belgium on the 6th of October 1914, so he was really part of the expeditionary force.
That's fascinating.
By May 1915, the Lifeguards were in Ypres, digging trenches and receiving instruction on how to use gas masks. Following the first use of gas in the area just a few weeks earlier, on the night of 12th and 13th of May, they were tasked with relieving the buffs from the trenches near Potsiege. The battalion war diary is scant on information about what happened that night, but in total, 35 men of the 2nd Lifeguards lost their lives on these 2 days, Charles being one of them. Half of these men have no known graves to this day. In July 1921, a casualty of the war was discovered by the teams looking for field graves. His resting place was not marked in any way, but was near Crump Farm between Botsige and Velohocken. The team responsible for documenting the discovery of the body and ensuring his reburial could find nothing to identify him by name, so they recorded instead that he was unknown Sergeant Major of the 2nd Lifeguards, a description they derived from his clothing, the crown and chevrons on his uniform, and his numerals. In 2020, a case was submitted to the Commonwealth War Graves Commission in which a researcher claimed to have identified the unknown Sergeant Major. They correctly pointed out that his rank does not exist in the Household Cavalry, but that the same insignia can be attributed to the rank of Corporal of Horse. Research showed that there was only one man of this rank was missing in this area at this time, and as such could be identified as Charles Edward Dean. The service was supported by serving soldiers of the Household Cavalry. Reverend Sanders said it is an honour to officiate at these services for rededication of the fallen servicemen who gave their lives in the service of our country. In these services we unite their final resting place with their earthly name, and what was once known only to God is now known in the sign of all. May their names be ever held in everlasting remembrance, and may they rest in peace and rise in glory. That's literally a week ago. Literally a week ago. Yeah, we'll go back, yeah. And that's why he's also in the right line, because he was found, but it formerly said a major of the Household Cavalry. But there weren't any majors of the Household Cavalry. And so they said that same insignia could be used for a corporal. And any corporal who it could possibly have been in that era and in that location was Charles Edward Dean. Sunshine passes, shadows fall, but love and remembrance outlast all.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, at least he can rest in peace after all these years.
Well, it doesn't. Obviously, the military were here. It doesn't say whether any family came. I hope they did.
Well, I think so, yeah, because look, on this one here, on behalf of your sister, sir, and nephew, sir, some family members have been here.
Good, yes.
So yeah, some family members have been here, so at least the poor chap can rest in peace now, can't he?
Well, they can all rest in peace, but at least it's for the family. It's for the family, isn't it? It means they can put a location and a headstone to the name. Yeah. And if they choose to, they can visit like we do.
Yes.
Our relatives.
Exactly.
But it's nice. That is well, for want of a better expression, it's a happy ending. It's a happy outcome for the family. I mean, unless you're right into Commonwealth War Graves and right into their various newsletters and being part of their kind of network, you're never going to know about this. You learn about them just like we have here from 7 days ago. You learn about it in retrospect. The chances of turning up at one of the 3,000 Commonwealth War Graves cemeteries and finding this ceremony taking place right at that moment is very unlikely.
We couldn't drive past Tyne Cott Cemetery without not visiting it. So I've got one of my relatives that's missing on the wall. Now this cemetery is the largest cemetery, World War I cemetery in terms of burials. It's got almost 12,000 burials.
And 35,000 on the memorial wall.
But I'll tell you what we'll do.
Just give you an overview of the cemetery from the Cross of Sacrifice.
Well, the thing is, we've done this video before in as previous visit, which
and
was...
we've talked about these graves, these ones at Higgledy-Piggledy, which are literally where they fell. We've talked about that. You can view an old video for that, but we just want to revisit.
Well, we can't drive past it without visiting it. It is the largest in terms of burials, and I don't believe you can actually get down there. They have cordoned it off.
Right, well, what we can do is just take a little step up here and just remind you of the frightening scale of this cemetery.
The thing is, it's visited such a lot, isn't it?
It's crazy.
And I think what they're doing is probably relaying grass seed.
Well, it gets a lot of visitors, to be fair. So this is the Cross of Sacrifice, which, as we've spoken to before, is built over a German bunker, but it carries on. Obviously, at the rear, at the back, you can see the memorials to the unknown soldiers, known unto God, but they may be in one of these plots known to God, but the rest are simply recorded. So that is a complete circuit showing you the frightening scale of this place.
Now this cross is placed on the central bunker that was captured. Have you? Right.
Was it King George V?
King George V suggested to have the Cross of Sacrifice placed on
suggested it was placed
the central
over
bunker.
Yeah. I thought I was right with the right king.
And the reason why it's called Tyne Cott is because it was, I believe it was the Northumberland Fusiliers that thought the actual bunkers looked like Tyne cottages.
They lived rough in Newcastle back in the day.
So if we have a look, I think, do you remember when we saw Jan? And we bought that poppy pin from that's made out of shrapnel. I believe he had some pins placed in this cemetery. Not pins, some kind of. I've been looking for them. I haven't been able to find them. It's such a huge cemetery. But what we'll do now is, what I'd like to do now is, we've not planned this. We've not planned on visiting these, but we can't, like I say, can't drive past without seeing.
Well, to be fair, Karen, we are actually parked up in the car park for the evening.
We are, yeah.
It's going to be our park up.
It's a good park. We've stayed there overnight before. Just stealth, not bothering anybody, nice and quiet.
Not leaving litter, leaving no trace, as they say.
But on this memorial wall, which I'm going to find, is. There's kids over there, isn't there? We don't want kids in it.
But that's nice that that the schools do this thing, and some were a little bit. They were a little bit hyper, but the teachers did quieten them down. 94.
This is where 94. 94 is where my relative is.
94's that way.
Yeah.
She's bleeding all right, you know.
Well, it's not far. That's 98. I suspect that poppy cross isn't there anymore.
94.
No, it's not. That's somebody else's.
How do you know? It might have just washed off the.
I'd have been able to see it. There's no writing on it.
There's some writing that it's worn off. It could be yours.
So, William Mowbray was killed in action and is missing. That's why he's on this memorial.
He may be one of the unknowns in this cemetery.
He was in the 2nd Battalion of the Welsh Regiment, killed in action, and he died on the 11th of November 1917. If he had died before that, he probably would have been on the Menning Gate Memorial, because it was a certain cut-off point where there was no room left on the Menning Gate. This is why these names ended up on this memorial, because there were so many unknown, so many missing, that they couldn't find a place for them all. Obviously there was some on the Menning Gate, but only so much space.
Maybe they should have written smaller.
Pardon?
Maybe they should have written the name smaller.
No, you need to be able to read them, don't you? But yeah, this is my first cousin 4 times removed, William Mowbray.
And tomorrow we visit Ypres.
Yeah, we're going to visit Ypres tomorrow.
We're hoping to go to the Flanders Fields Museum.
We're going to go to the Flanders Fields Museum.
We're going to go to the Menning Gate.
Yes.
Watch the ceremony.
Again.
But we can finally see the names of your two fallen.
My two other missing relatives that we wasn't able to find last time because it was covered up with scaffolding because they were repairing the Menin Gate. So like I said, we've done this video before. There's no point in like going.
We're not going to dwell on it. We're not going to talk
right
about
over
the whole thing. But
Yeah.
it's just a reminder for you all just what an incredible place this is. Such a sad place. But with all these kids here learning about it, you never know. Maybe the mistakes of history won't be repeated. Isn't it a shame Trump didn't do more history lessons?
Yeah.
Maybe Putin as well.
What I'd like to say is this, right? Listen, I like to come to these places and just pay respects because at the time when the First World War was happening, these young men were going into battle thinking they were going to see the world. They were thinking that they were going to be back home for Christmas, and they were going with their friends and their relatives.
Pals regiments,
Pals battalions. But like so many of them didn't make it.
The great adventure.
I wonder how they would have seen what's going on in the world today.
They shook their heads and said, don't people learn anything from history?
Perhaps.
I died for your future, and now you're sacrificing my future again.
Yeah. I think, I feel as though, we don't really want to discuss that on it, it's too political, but, you know, it's sad that so many generations of young men go to fight to protect democracy and protect, you know, the freedoms of the West or whatever, you know.
And then they're undermined by the leaders.
And then it happens again and again and again, and it'll still happen again and again and again. And it's sad. It's just really, really disappointing.
Lions led by donkeys, I think the term is.
But we're not, like I said, we're not going to go into it too much. I've got an awful lot to say about it, but
it's not a political channel.
We'll try not to let it become a political channel. But no, I do like to come because I find these places so peaceful and so poignant, and it's. You look at them and you see the ages. There's so many young men. I mean, the youngest are 14, and there's 15-year-olds.
Who died from a gas attack.
Yeah, and there's 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds and 18-year-olds, and the oldest ones that you might see is roughly in the 40s.
I think the oldest was 67.
Yeah, we've not yet discovered his grave yet, have we?
Have we not found his at some point?
Pardon?
We've not vlogged him, but I think we may have seen that one. In a previous visit.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing YouTube for less than a couple of years.
Less than a couple of years.
But we've been visiting this place for, well, the World War I battlefields for about, well, getting on for 10 years pretty well.
Yeah.
Come back every couple of years.
But
except now we're back in 6 months.
You just, I mean, I still can't. We come to this cemetery every time we're over here, don't we? And you look at it and you just think, how many men? How many? All these graves here, all going all the way up there, and they go all the way. You can't even see over at Brout Hill how far they go.
Well, they head all the way down there.
And all the way on these walls, the names on these walls.
Like I said before, there's 47,000 names and burials here. 47,000. Have you ever seen 47,000 people gathered together in your life?
So does it still blow your mind away, does this place, eh? Does it still blow your mind away?
Every time you go, you look, and I know that sounds a bit weird, but you stand in a certain position and the gravestones make kind of geometric patterns, and the sunlight catches them when it's sunny, the light catches them, and it kind of geometric patterns. And I know that's a bit weird, but you see it and it's almost like, well, That's almost like art, but it was geometry, but it's not, it's human beings. It's just beyond comprehension, isn't it?
So, what shall we do now?
Go back to the van.
Yeah, call it a night.